Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of the Shootin' Show, and this, of course, is Leroy Scott, our counsel, co-host, all-around nice guy. And, of course, we also are speaking this evening for our good friend and associate producer, Kurt Vickers, who cannot be on camera tonight, but believe me, he's doing his part for this program. Friends, the reason that we're starting off the program, normally we would start the show with a gun like this 1911 or this Colt Sporter, as some of us might, or we used to call an AR-15, which is no longer politically correct. But we're going to start today's program, instead of shooting bullets, we need to talk about shooting ballots, because we are at a time frame that is very near, very possibly the most important elections that this has ever occurred, have ever occurred in this country's history. Am I correct, sir?
Well, it is as far as I'm concerned, Johnny. Of course, different times bring different things into focus. Right now, I think we've got a lot of things in focus as far as the rights of gun owners are concerned. And there are those who believe, I happen to be among them, that it's the existence of the Second Amendment that ensures the First and other amendments in being effective. The rights of gun owners, the Second Amendment, was not enacted to protect duck hunters. It wasn't enacted to protect deer hunters or buffalo hunters. It was enacted to protect people against government, because an armed people do not need to be afraid, and disarmed people have to be docile. They have no choice about the matter. This is a strong pitch to you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the last show that you're going to see before the November 8th elections. In fact, some of you may not see it until after November 8th because of the times that the Outdoor Channel plays
It'll still be running.
But a lot of you will see it before the November 8th elections. I have before me the suggestions, the endorsements and so forth that both the National Rifle Association and the Gun Owners of America have, and it's interesting to me that they don't talk about the same people. They really don't talk about the same people. Of course, Gun Owners of America have in the current issue of Guns and Ammo given you a complete rundown on every race in the country and every senator and every representative and all the people that, at least up to a reasonable time before publication, had received donations from Handgun Control Incorporated, Sarah Brady's outfit. Well, since I have mentioned the National Rifle Association endorsements, which are in the current issue of the Rifleman, the American Rifleman, with the picture on the front saying, "Help stop the rape of liberty."
Well, that is a magazine cover that is so effective. It's a terrible magazine, a terrible cover. It's a terrible thing that's happening. And friends, that's what this is all about. That's what our conversation this evening is about, is we have got to do something. And every last one of us who can make the effort, everyone, tell you what, if we don't get some of these people out, and those of us out there who could or can go vote and don't, well, you're going to have a terrible responsibility put on your shoulders, because you will be part of the problem. You know, Judge, I never want it to be said by a decent person, by a decent American, that I'm part of the problem, see, or that you're part of the problem, or that most of the people out here viewing this program are part. We're not the problem. The problem is those of us who do nothing.
Well, I don't know of my own knowledge whether gun owners, hunters, fishermen, everybody that owns a gun vote or not. I know there are a lot of people that pay almost no attention to the political process, and that is unfortunate, because the political process is extremely, extremely important, and rights once lost are very, very hard to reclaim. Now, let me go over the endorsements of Gun Owners of America, because that's a very important endorsement. Number one, it starts off saying, these guys really need your help. And they do. They start off with Steve Stockman, the Texas 9th District, running against Jack Brooks, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee,
Who sold us out? Is that right?
Gun Owners of America says that he sold us out. The man who betrayed us in August. NRA endorsed him. As a committee of one, I demanded that the NRA retract that endorsement. To this date, as far as I know, they haven't done it. But anyhow, they want Gun Owners of America is endorsing Steve Stockman, saying we really need your help. Now I can tell you, if you punish Jack Brooks by defeating him for re-election, that message will get through the other members of Congress very clearly, very clearly. So they endorse Steve Stockman, 9th District of Texas. They say that he will be an activist like Representative Roscoe Bartlett from Maryland. And let me tell you while we're about it that Representative Roscoe Bartlett is a really great man. He's a sponsor of the Firearms Owners Protection Act. He's got a lot of co-sponsors of it, but he's there. He's online, and I admire him. Second, Randy Tate, the 9th District of Washington, running against Representative Mike Creedla, who Gun Owners of America characterized as being a puppet who will dance to the anti-gun tune played by Charles Sherman and Sarah Brady. They're saying that Creedla is already organizing support for the so-called Brady II bill. They'll make you get a license from the government for every darn thing you want to do. It says that Sarah Brady and company have already dumped $4,000 into the Creedla campaign. Tate is a solid A-rated challenger who will fight to protect our rights in Congress. If you want to make any contributions, then you'll have to send them quick because you don't have much time to do it. Steve Stockman, Post Office Box 57135 in Webster, Texas. Zip code is 77598. For Randy Tate, it's Randy Tate for Congress, 33743. I repeat that, 33743. 9th Street, South Federal Way, Washington. I guess that's 9th Street South, Federal Way, Washington, 98003. And then we have Representative the Honorable Rod Grams in Minnesota. The Senate race between Ron Grams and Ann Wynia, L-W-Y-N-I-A, Wynia, I guess that's the way you pronounce it, is one of the clearest choices we have this year. Both candidates have track records. We know how they would vote. Wynia has consistently voted against our gun rights in the Minnesota legislature, and Graham for GRAMS for U.S. Senate 2013 2nd Street B3, that's Baker 3, Post Office Box 1029, ANOKA, Anoka, Minnesota, 55303.
Hello, friends. I'm out here practicing for one of the most fun hunting sports that you can imagine. You can use a variety of action types. You have access to year-round hunting, some cases no limits, and you get to use a variety of guns. Well, you know what I'm talking about is the sport of varmint hunting. And we need to introduce you folks to varmint hunting. A lot of us have been doing it for years and didn't know what to call it, but we especially need to introduce you to the Varmint Hunter magazine. You know, friends, varmint hunting is one of the fastest growing shooting sports in the world. In fact, the Varmint Hunters Association, they have members in all 50 states and 19 foreign countries. Now, their magazine focuses on varmint hunting and super accurate reloading and shooting techniques. Plus, there's a lot of humor, a lot of interesting cartoons and humorous articles in the magazine. Incidentally, the magazine is large, it's very high quality, and something I think you're really going to enjoy reading, and it's published quarterly. It's only $24 for an associate membership in the Varmint Hunters Association. And look, for information, now you ought to do this. If you're a dedicated shooter, this is something I think you're really going to enjoy. For information on the Varmint Hunter magazine and the Varmint Hunters Association, call them at 1-800-528-4868. Again, 1-800-528-4868. Be sure and tell them you saw it on the Shootin' Show.
There are 7 other important races at Gun Owners of America list. Tom Berry has an A rating running against Representative Henry Hyde, who has an F- rating. Citizens for Tom Berry for Congress. 100 East Roosevelt, number 35, Villa Park, V-I-L-L-A, Villa Park, Illinois, 60181. 60181. Ron Freeman, A rating, running for an open seat from Kansas. Ron Freeman for Congress, 633 East 63rd Street, Kansas City, Missouri, 64110. David Funderburk with an A rating. Funderburk for Congress, 121 East Cumberland Street, number 1124, Dunn, North Carolina, 28335. George Landreth with an A rating. These ratings are put out by Gun Owners of America, and they know what they're doing, too, believe me. George Landreth for Congress, Post Office Box 32, Charlottesville, Virginia, 22902. Let me put in a boost right now for Ollie North. I'm telling you, the establishment is so hepped up on the subject of Ollie North that you can't believe all of this nonsense. And incidentally, interrupting this, let me get 3 more, and then I want to talk a little bit about the media hype that's going on. Steve Largent, L-A-R-G-E-N-T, A rating, open seat, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Largent for Congress, 124 East 4th Street, Tulsa, 74103. Joe Scarborough with an A rating, running for an open seat in Pensacola, Florida. Scarborough for Congress, 3695 Wimbledon Drive, Pensacola, Florida, 32504. Zach Wamp, W-A-M-P, with an A rating, running for an open seat against a C-rated candidate. Committee to elect Zach, Z-A-C-H, Zach Wamp, W-A-M-P, Post Office Box 4331, Chattanooga, Tennessee, 37405. And those are the 10. Now I want to talk some about the NRA listings, because after all, you got to remember we're on the same side in this thing, even though I disagree with some of the things the NRA has done, particularly with their endorsement of Jack Brooks. That just rubs me the wrong way. The media is going full bore ahead right now. I saw it on TV last night. I saw it on TV the night before. They are now giving you all the hype that the Democrats are picking up and everything's going fine. And these candidates are losing ground. Nobody's calling me to find out if they're losing ground. I don't think anybody's called Johnny.
Certainly not.
And I don't know anybody that's been called on these so-called polls. I think the polls are just as fake as they can be. I remember so well years ago that Harry Truman was polled out. He was defeated. And who was that goofy district attorney from New York that was supposed to have beat him?
Dewey.
Tom Dewey.
Goofy district attorney. Okay.
Well, he was.
Okay. That's you know that better than I.
Well, I've never forgiven Tom Dewey for stealing the presidential nomination from Bob Taft under the motto of "Thou shalt not steal." That has grated on me ever since.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. Friends, all of us as shooting enthusiasts should be subscribing to Shotgun News, the trading post for anything that shoots. 3 big issues monthly with literally thousands and thousands of firearms bargains. Shotgun News, Post Office Box 669, Hastings, Nebraska, the zip code 68902, their phone number, area 402-463-4589, MasterCard or Visa for subscriptions only. Now call them at 1-800-345-6923. Now, friends, we're looking at 2 of the finest small handguns that I'm aware of. These, of course, are from American Derringer Corporation. On your left, you have the Model 1, which is available in over 50 chamberings. And on the right is their double-action Derringer, which is very similar to the old high-standard design, except it's been modernized. This particular one is in the 38 special chambering. Now, friends, sometimes it's hard to have a large handgun with you, but you can always have one of these American Derringers. Call them 1-800-642-7817.
But the media hype is there, and you're going to hear steady stream of it from now until midnight of the 8th of November about how the Democrats are picking up, and now the candidates want Clinton to come help them, whereas mostly they've been saying, stay out of our district. How do you tell the president to stay out of your district? I don't really know. He decides he's going to come there, he's going to go there. I hope he goes to a lot of districts, because I think it'll emphasize exactly what he is doing, what he thinks. You know, I'm still not away from my nasty bad dream, and that is that Clinton somehow or other will find some excuse to call this election off when he sees that his people are going to lose it. That's a horrible thought. Hasn't happened in history.
Well, now, wait a minute, Judge. Isn't there some sort of executive emergency act that was put in effect under Franklin Roosevelt that is still
World
in
War
effect?
II, it's still in effect. It never has been canceled. Every president since that time has extended the executive order for a year.
Well, people say that, well, something like canceling the elections could not happen. Well, what about this executive order? I mean, wouldn't that allow something like that? So
It allows a lot of things, Johnny. It allows a confiscation of private property. It allows the internment of American citizens. It allows calling off of elections. There are all sorts of things that can happen.
now, wait a minute, friends. This is not something that is nebulous. This is something that actually does exist. That apparently we've been under since what, the 30s or certainly the 40s, huh?
Since the 40s, when Congress gave President Roosevelt emergency powers, that still exist. Let's talk about some of the NRA candidates. NRA has 2 lists of 12. 12 that gotta go, and 12 that we gotta have. Out of the 12 that gotta go, Representative Bob Carr, Michigan, open Senate seat. His opponent is Spence Abraham. Spence Abraham was one of the candidates for Republican National Committeeman, chairman of the Republican National Committee. Good man, fine man. We think he'd be a credit to the Senate and a credit to the Republican Party. As you know, I boost the Republicans. I am a Republican, but mainly because I think we ought to get rid of the Democrat control of Congress for the past 40-plus years. Representative Sam Coppersmith in Arizona running for an open seat. We're lucky Dennis DeConcini is retiring. Well, he should retire. He was elected promising to support firearms rights and has been exactly opposite that. But if you saw him on 60 Minutes last night, that's Sunday night, this is Monday, and his arrogance, about congressional pensions, you couldn't possibly vote for him. Of course, he can be as arrogant as he wants because he's not running for re-election. Sam Coppersmith is running for his seat, and his opponent is John Kyle, K-Y-L. K-Y-L is a good man. John Kyle is a good man, and Sam Coppersmith needs to be defeated. That'll get him out of the House and keep him from being in the Senate. Get 2 birds with 1 stone. Representative Alan Wheat, running in Missouri for an open seat for the Senate. Ashcroft, a former governor of Missouri, is running for that spot. I don't know if that Ashcroft has the kind of rating that gun owners of America would like for him to have, but he's certainly better than Alan Wheat. Now remember, these are personal views. These are personal views. They're views of the NRA, and I think to a large extent they're correct.
Well, sir, I would like to add that no one has, in my opinion, a more fair view toward a politician's stand on whatever. I mean, you're as fair as can be. I mean, that's part of your job, is to be fair in your other job away from this television program. But I think that your judgment would be right down the line with 99% of the people who watch this program who care about this country.
Well, Alan, we co-sponsored the Brady Bill.
Well, enough said.
Representative Ronald Coleman, Texas, 16th District. He's one of the ones who's got to go now, remember. 2 years ago, he was proud to get the NRA's help in getting elected. Now he said he's proud to vote to ban firearms, even though he admits that the ban's not going to solve the crime problem. Well, I hope Texas NRA members have pride, too. Pride in replacing Coleman with Bobby Ortiz, O-R-T-I-Z, a candidate who takes pride in defending constitutional rights. Representative Don Johnson, this another one that's got to go. Georgia's 10th District. Not long after voting to ban lawful firearms ownership of semi-automatic weapons, he said he opposes restrictions that infringe on constitutional rights. It's time to excuse him for Congress and elect Charles Norwood, an avid hunter, fisherman, and supporter of firearms rights. Representative John Bryant, Texas, 5th District. He says that his recent vote to ban guns said, quote, "It doesn't have anything to do with views about gun ownership in general."
What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe it thinks we still have a right to own a single-shot .22 in general. It has everything to do with Texas NRA members, and send Pete Sessions, S-E-S-S-I-O-N-S, Pete Sessions to Congress in Texas's 5th District. Georgia 7th District, Representative George Buddy Darden. Again, somebody that NRA says got to go. He voted for the Clinton crime bill to ban guns. He was quick to explain that voting against gun owners in Georgia doesn't mean I'll be any less a supporter of gun owners in the future. Well, I don't know how to judge the future except by the past.
Well, what you have here is politician doublespeak, and we judge them by their actions rather than what they say. And when someone does one thing, then they say it was, well, that would, it's just like somebody running over somebody at the intersection. Well, that really wasn't. That was just a fender bender. It wasn't really, it's calling something entirely different.
What was the old expression? If he looks like a duck and walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then he is a duck. And I'm reminded of something that Abraham Lincoln asked years ago. He said, if you call a tail a leg, how many legs does a horse have? Somebody said 5. He said, no, 4, because calling a tail a leg doesn't make it one. And that's exactly what it is. Talk doesn't count, votes do.
Friends, you can communicate with the Shootin' Show on CompuServe now. Our number is 735-42-3024. Again, 735-42-3024. And to join our Shootin' Show Gun Club, call us at 1-800-895-7916. We take Visa, MasterCard, check, money order, whatever you got. Join today, friends. We need to reach as many people as we can.
I think I have just talked about Representative John Bryant, Texas 5th District, that's got to go, and Representative George Buddy Darden in Georgia in the 7th District, because he said pretty much the same thing, that his vote against gun owners doesn't mean I'll be any less a supporter of gun owners in the future. But his opponent is Bob Barr, B-A-R-R. Vote for Bob Barr for Congress. Get rid of Buddy Darden. Representative Karen English, Arizona, 6th District. She voted to ban guns and told reporters they're like a whole new day in Washington. Well, it was a whole new day in Washington. And we intend to have a new day dawn now. And let's take Karen English out of the House of Representatives, let her go back to working for a living, and replace her with J.D. Hayworth, H-A-Y-W-O-R-T-H, a strong believer in constitutional rights. In Nevada, Senator Richard Bryan, another one that has to go. A politician, NRA says he's got 2 faces that you can trust. He said on the one hand, the gun control issue should be left at the state and local level. But then in the U.S. Senate, he puts on his other face and votes for banning waiting periods and banning. So Brian's opponent, Hal Furman, F-U-R-M-A-N, is running for the Senate.
And would appreciate your vote.
In Nevada, and would undoubtedly appreciate your vote, and I would appreciate your voting for him, too. Representative Tom Andrews in Maine. He's running for an open Senate seat. That's the one that the honorable majority leader in the Senate has retired from. He says on the issue of the gun ban that the NRA members are wrong. Well, we're not wrong. Andrews is wrong. And if you elect Olympia Snowe, S-N-O-W-E, and defeat Andrews in his race for Maine's open Senate seat, you will strike a blow for liberty and freedom. 2 governors, Roy Roma in Colorado, Ann Richards in Texas. Ann's the one that has vetoed the concealed carry bills in Texas at least twice.
You know, that is so distressing to me. So many Texans, just like, have you heard that lady whose parents were killed in the Luby's cafeteria? You've heard that tape.
Oh, yes, indeed, I have indeed.
You know, she was trying not to break the law. She sometimes, in her profession or whatever, she had a gun certainly there at near proximity. But she has said over and over, if she had had a gun that day at Luby's cafeteria, she could have saved most of those people's lives, the people who were killed, absolutely.
Including her mother and
Including
father.
her mother and father. It's absolutely disgusting, friends, what we're allowing to happen here.
Have you ever noticed, Johnny, how fascinatingly frequent it comes about that somebody does a fool thing just before some votes
An election.
are taken?
See, that this is, friends, this is one of those phenomenons that we have no explanation for. Just like this nut outside the White House, that's what you're thinking
That's
of?
the one I'm thinking about.
And it seems these things happen at opportune times. Why is that? I mean, it almost would lend you to believe or lead you to believe that that there was another strategy here in the background. I'm not saying it. I don't know. I'm just saying it's a heck of a coincidence where before some of these most important elections where we have gun grabbers literally who are trying to take away everything that we have that goes bang, that we can protect ourselves with, what happens?
It happened with the Purdy massacre in
Sure did.
California. It's happened repeatedly. Before every election, there's something that happens that's real goofy and would not normally seem to happen. And this business is shooting a lot of bullets at the White House. I almost believe he would put up to it. All right, 12 we got to have, according to the NRA. Representative Harold Faulkner, top man, Missouri 9th District, A+ rating. He was the author of the bill that partly defeated partly repealed the '68 Gun Control Act. He is a great man. We got to keep him. Missouri 9th District. Representative Gerald Solomon, New York, 22nd District. Representative Bill Brewster, Oklahoma, 3rd District. Representative Rick Santorum, Pennsylvania, the Senate race. We've talked about Santorum before.
A number of times.
Good man. These are people we need. Representative Karen Thurman, Florida, 5th District. Representative Jane Sensenbrunner, Wisconsin, 9th District. Senator Orrin Hatch. Oh, fantastic man. Fantastic man. Orrin Hatch would become the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, replacing Joe Biden if the Republicans manage to take control of the Senate.
Well, that'd be
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be something? My goodness.
And Inhofe. James Inhofe in Oklahoma. We talked about him last week when I'd come back from the Tulsa Gun Show, and I saw so much support for Inhofe up there. He has an opponent, Dave McCurdy, who voted in favor of the bans, and Inhofe is a solid supporter. In fact, McCurdy nominated Bill Clinton for president.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
You know, friends, this Colt 45 or something equivalent, I think, is extremely important for self-defense. But let me tell you about another kind of defense. How about mental defense? We need to know what's going on in this country, and trust me on this one, there is no better publication to do that than the New American Magazine. It comes every 2 weeks, twice monthly, and of course they cover subjects that we need to know about. They cover all sorts of issues, from the gun issues to what's going on in Congress to all sorts of news items from all around this country and around the world for that matter. Things that are absolutely essential to us as conservative, gun-owning Americans. We need to know this. This is a tremendous bargain. It's $22 for a 6-month subscription. And I'll tell you what, friends, you'll read the New American, and you're going to get angry, you're going to get mad, but you'll also find out what you need to do. You're going to find out facts that you will not find in any other organized news media publication. But trust me on this one. These people, we know them, and if they say it, you can take it to the bank. It is, in fact, true. And that brings up their 800 number. You can get the New American by calling 1-800-727-TRUE-TRUE. And those numbers, of course, are 1-800-727-8783. The New American, $22 for a 6-month subscription. It comes twice a month. Friends, you need this magazine if you want to know what's going on. And in times like this, we need both of these. We need our guns, and we darn sure need our information. You know, friends, it's rare in any field of manufacture that one particular company has a clear-cut advantage over the others. Well, in this case, it's Corbin Ammunition, Corbin Bullet Company, because they make the best handgun, long gun, and even some specialty caliber ammunition that's been real hard to get in the past. If you really want your handgun or rifle to perform at their absolute best, you need to find some Corbin ammunition. For information on where you can get Corbin, information on their product line, call them. Corbin Bullet Company, 1-800-626-7266. Again, give them a call. It's a free call, 1-800-626-7266. Trust me on this one. Corbin is the best there is.
Ollie North, Virginia. They are the liberals. The liberals are after Ollie North so bad. You know, it'd be good to elect him just to slap the liberals in the face, if nothing else. And what does Nancy Reagan know about lying? What does Nancy Reagan know about lying? She says that Ollie North lied to her husband. Well, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure her husband didn't want Ollie North to say what he did.
Question. Isn't there something, the enemy of my enemy is my friend? Isn't there an old saying like that?
Yeah.
Well, as badly as the news media, and that's not always the case, of course, but as badly as the news media is trying to hurt, lambast, overall do anything they can possibly say or do against Oliver North, I mean, hey, the guy must not be half bad. If these people are so adamant in trying to prevent him, they're scared to death of him.
They are scared to death of Ollie North. I really don't quite understand that, but he has got support. And you know, there's something about his supporters. They have enthusiasm. And that's what I want you in this audience to have, enthusiasm. Go out and vote. Vote for your candidates. My candidate's already been elected. He don't have an opponent in the general election. He won in the primary, and there wasn't anybody else. So I can't do anything other than talk. I can talk.
Well, I think that at this point may be one of the greatest things that we can do, because, friends, you know, technically speaking, an election is a bloodless revolution. Am I correct somewhere there? And the election process allows us as citizens to have a revolution. If we don't like what's going on, hey, we can change it through that election. All right, nobody wants to see. The anti-gun people are pushing the big government people, the one world new order types, the new world order types. All these people seem to be pushing for some kind of confrontation. Hey, we don't want a confrontation. Let's fix it now.
I'm not ready to give up the sovereignty of the United States of America.
That's right. We're certainly not. We're not ready, and that's why we're devoting the time we are on today's program. Friends, this is so important. I mean, this is maybe the big one, absolutely. This will be one of the, because we have an opportunity. We have that elusive window of opportunity where we can step in And some of these people can come home where they need to be or go somewhere else other than be in the legislation or be involved in legislation in this country.
Incidentally, if they come home, they'll be drawing fat retirement, which is another thing that bugs me.
Well, as long as we can get their hands off the wheel, huh, Judge?
Yeah, that's right. Just get them off the wheel. Several others that we've got to have. Trent Locke, Senator from Mississippi. Good man, top man. Senator Connie Mack in Florida. We've mentioned him before on this. He is a top-notch man. He won by a squeaker 2 years ago, and that was for a partial term. So now he's up for re-election. I certainly hope that we elect Senators Ollie North, Trent Locke, Connie Mack, and then Representative Duncan Hunter in California in the 52nd District. Another good man. We need to support these people. Johnny, we need to remember, and I don't have these figures, but you do. This show is now on a different satellite at a different time. And Johnny, tell the people that are viewing what it is. Of course, we're preaching to the choir there because they've already found us.
Well, if you're watching us on the Outdoor Channel, you can also watch our program on Galaxy 3, Channel 22, on Thursday nights at 10 o'clock Eastern. So our Thursday programs for several years, of course, have been on at 9 o'clock Eastern, but we got a much better satellite, and certainly the 10 o'clock Eastern time slot, 9 o'clock Central, 8 Mountain, 7 Pacific, will certainly be an excellent time slot for us. So if you're watching on the Outdoor Channel and you want to see, because actually the Thursday night program is the first, typically the first show out of the 5-day series that our shows run. So if you want to see us also, and I do want to put in a plug for the Outdoor Channel. They have a lot of programming which agrees with us as the gun owner, as the independent thinker, and I certainly want to say a word because the Outdoor Channel and all of our broadcasts of the Shootin' Show and the Outdoor Channel broadcasts are free to local cable and local TV stations just for the asking. They're absolutely, in fact, they can make money on our shows at the local level. So we really need to reach as many people as possible. The Outdoor Channel is doing some great things, and we're so happy to be on our new Thursday night satellite.
Well, the Outdoor Channel is also going to broadcast Wayne LaPierre with the National Rifle Association on November 1st at 3 p.m. That's his Eastern Time. November 1st, 3 p.m., November 6th, 7 p.m., November 8th at 3 p.m. That's on satellite F2, Channel 13. I don't know if it'll be picked up with the Outdoor Channel some other time, but it's a full-hour broadcast, and Wayne will have a lot of information, hopefully some good news for us, because he's going to have one broadcast on November 13th at 7 p.m., and that'll wrap it up, and it'll tell us where we won and where we lost and where America won and where America lost.
That's what it's all about. Will America win, or in fact, will America lose? Friends, the choice is ours.
Well, I know I've got some more things to say, but I don't know what they are right now. If I can say anything at all, it's please get out and vote. And remember that essay that I've spoken about before. The wise, the honest, the intelligent should vote. And if you are none of these, then for the love of your country, stay away from the polls.
Tri-toad's real easy to use because all you have is a hook on your waist and you have another hook on a strap. Okay, so all you're doing is you're hanging your gun up like you would on a peg gun rack. There is never anything attached to your equipment when you use a tri-toad. Okay, you just set the gun with one hook behind the trigger guard and the other hook on the barrel. To use it, you just push in on towards your chest, pick the gun up to shoot it. Basically, you got 7 different positions anywhere you want to range the barrel of the gun by just taking it off. It's a piece of Velcro strap onto a Velcro shoulder pad. You just put the gun into it, pick it up and shoot it any way you want. I know a lot of people like to walk around with their gun over their wrist. In this position, tucked up under your arm, it's real comfortable, except it breaks your wrist. Set the gun with the hook in front of the trigger guard, and you got the same position, except your hands free always. And what you want to do is you can take your trigger finger right at the trigger guard, pick the gun right up off the pod, and then you got it ready to shoot. Okay? The other position that you have is when you set the butt of the gun right on the hook on the side, and you can just hold your gun for field shooting in this manner, or you can just rest it back on your shoulder, shrug your shoulder, hit the gun, catch it, and the gun comes up. It's that simple to use. A lot of people like to go out riding on their four-wheeler and their ATV, or climb into their deer stand, or drag their deer. You got a securing strap that just peels back. All you do is set it on the barrel of the gun, wrap the barrel up, and you have a little securing loop down here on the pod. Okay? You take that and you secure that right over the hook of the gun, so you're securing the top and the bottom. You can ride your four-wheeler, you can climb your tree stand in this manner. If you'd like to pull out your deer, you can open your waist belt up, drop your right hand down through your straps, bring your left hand back up through it. The gun immediately goes on your back. Buckle it up, take away any of that slack. You don't want that. Just readjust it. Pull it up tight on your back, and that's the most secure back carry you'll ever have. You can drag your deer out any way you want to drag your deer out. Climb your hands, use your binoculars. You're always hands-free with the tri-tote.
Well, you know, Richie, I was so impressed with the way the tri-tote is put together. It is all high-quality materials. Your hook here for your barrel is covered in plastic. This is really a really nice product.
Vinyl here, vinyl, stainless steel core, injected molded, nylon.
All right, and the good news is, if someone would not remember how you did this today, an instruction tape,
Yes,
simple as
exactly.
can be, comes with each one of these tri-totes sold, right?
That's right.
And it's real good. You'll see Richie on there showing it over and over. It's very simple, very easy to use. Now then, we're going to give a price on this today.
Yep, it's going to be a special for shoot and show people only.
Okay, shoot and show people on.
Yes, sir. Instead of $49.95, $38.50.
Well, great. And we have an 800 number, too.
That's right,
And
we
we're going to
do.
give that in just 1 second.
Now then, friends, for information or to order one of the all-season tri-totes, call them at 1-800-231-1443. MasterCard or Visa, $38.50 plus $6.50 shipping and handling. This is a special price for our Shoot and Show audience, so please identify to them that it is, you did see it on the Shoot and Show. This is an excellent piece of equipment a lot of us would like to have, friends. 1-800-231-1443. Friends, what you're looking at is one of the neatest discoveries we've made in some time on the program. This is a bottle of Black Canyon black powder replacement. And one of the things you miss with this is, since it has no sulfur in it, you don't have the mess that we normally associate with black powder shooting. It's more stable than black powder. It's a little safer to store and handle. And those of us who enjoy shooting these black powder firearms, you just don't have to spend all that extra time in cleaning, because there's just not much mess at all. You need some of this if you enjoy shooting and hunting with black powder. So give them a call. Black Canyon black powder replacement. Call them 800-622-8669. Again, 1-800-622-8669. Please tell them you saw it on the Shoot and Show. The Shoot and Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Field artillery in the war between the states was primarily an anti-personnel weapon. The most popular field artillery piece on both sides during the war was the 12-pound Napoleon. It was light enough to be maneuvered as a field artillery piece, yet fired full charge 12-pound ammunition. This ammunition consisted of 4 major types of projectiles. Solid or round shot was a solid iron ball. Like all other projectiles, it was attached to a wooden sabot by metal bands. The sabot improved the accuracy and served double duty by having a woolen powder bag attached to it. This meant that when loading, the powder charge, sabot, and projectile were all one piece and could be loaded with one stroke. Shell was a hollow iron ball filled with black powder and using a Borman or similar type of fuse. The fuse was a wooden plug containing a powder train in a groove. The cover was a scale graduated in seconds. The gunner estimated the range and consequent time of flight to the target and called out the number. The fuse cutter cut a hole in the fuse cover at the appropriate mark. Hopefully, the powder gases escaping past the projectile would ignite the fuse, which would burn for the required number of seconds before causing the projectile to explode. This was a very iffy thing. Problems with fuses, range estimation, and variations in muzzle velocity made it near impossible to get the projectile to explode in the right place. Spherical case was the same as shell, except that the hollow area in the shell contained a very small burster charge and a number of separate iron balls. Grape or canister shot was used on infantry at less than 400 yards. This collection of small iron balls converted the Napoleon into a giant shotgun. When the infantry closed to within 180 yards, one powder charge could be loaded with 2 containers of canister, thereby doubling the number of projectiles to 24 pounds. Explosive shell and spherical case had little bursting power and were unreliable. The preferred rounds were solid shot and canister. We will demonstrate how to load using this 6-pounder, which has been re-rifled on the James principle. After the shot, the number 3 closed off the touch hole or vent with a padded leather glove called a thumb stall. Number 1 dipped the sponge end of his rammer into a water bucket and swabbed the bore in order to extinguish any sparks remaining from the previous shot. Number 2 received the new projectile powder combination from the powder monkey and placed it at the muzzle. Number 1 reversed his rammer and rammed the cartridge home. Number 3 then removed the thumb stall from the vent and, using a vent prick, cut open the cartridge in the bore. Number 4 placed the friction primer in the vent and took the slack out of the lanyard. At any time during this process, the gunner aimed the weapon. For elevation changes, he used the hand screw mounted underneath the breech, while deflection changes were made by physically moving the trail left and right. Upon command, number 4 would give a final pull on the lanyard. The friction primer acted like a giant kitchen match and set off the propelling charge. As the gun rolled back 6 to 12 feet in recoil, the crew members seized the carriage and rolled it forward to approximately the same starting position. You may ask about rifled field artillery, but it was not that effective. Though it was more accurate, its recoil took it out of position after every shot. Each succeeding shot was the equivalent of opening fire again. The rounds could not be walked into the target. Rifles were inefficient at handling canister shot, and their explosive projectiles had a weak burster charge and an extremely unreliable contact fuse. Since the projectiles were oblong, they normally dug deeply into the ground before explosion and had little effect. It would take more than 30 years, plus the invention of high-order explosive filler, smokeless powder, cartridge cases, breech loaders, good contact fuses, and hydro-pneumatic recoil systems before field artillery had the characteristics which you and I understand today. We will watch a genuine 12-pound Napoleon being fired with solid shot and canister shot against formations of silhouette targets. We will be loading slowly and out of sequence, and we'll be using a separate powder bag of aluminum foil in order to reduce the possibility of a premature discharge. To reduce chance of misfire, the number 3 man will put priming powder down the vent before the friction primer is inserted. Infantry 400! Prime! Fire! Dean, vent. Prime! Fire! Infantry 240! Too much. Prime! Fire! Prime! Fire! Prime! Fire!
You know, friends, this box of Corbin ammunition and this Wesson 41 Magnum are in fact a perfect match for each other. But it doesn't matter whatever gun you may have, like this SKS or a hunting rifle or a 38 Special or a 9mm makes no difference, because Corbin is absolutely the best factory ammunition that money can buy, period. And also, friends, when you see a box of Corbon on the shelf, or you give them a call, realize that Corbon is helping keep the shooting show on the air. They've been one of our most dedicated sponsors. You cannot find finer people in the entire shooting industry. For information on Corbon ammunition, call them 1-800-626-7266. Again, 1-800-626-7266. Tell them you saw it on the shooting show.
I am sure you expected the canister shot to be impressive, but the round shot was surprising. They bounced through the formation like a bowling ball gone berserk. Every strike upon the ground and every impact with a target created secondary projectiles which traveled through the target area at odd angles. Wartime stories of round shot hurling rifled muskets, canteens, and pieces of bodies as secondary projectiles are true. One can only imagine what it must have looked like when a battery of 6 of these were on line firing at maximum rate. During the war, maximum rate for these weapons was 4 rounds per minute. This is faster than we were firing, since we put a premium on safety and intentionally went slowly. By calculating the rate of advance of infantry using Hardee's manual and comparing this to the rate of fire, we find that an infantry unit attacking a Napoleon field piece from 1,500 yards out would, by the time they arrived at the gun, receive 676 pounds of round shot and canister from that single field piece alone. This brings up 2 important side points: Gatling guns and leadership. The Gatling gun of the war between the states was the size of this field piece, yet its combat range was exactly the same as the rifled musket. Since cartridge cases were not yet practical, Gatling...
Well, friends, it's happened again. We've run out of time for today's program. From Kurt, the judge, myself, we want to thank everyone for being with us for today's program, and we look forward to seeing you on the next shooting show.